Hello, I'm Helen Dyke and welcome to my crochet series. This is episode number 1 and today I'm going to be joining some squares like this, if I can, that's it, some squares like this to a blanket that I've been working on. So these squares are made with what we call granny stitch, and you can see that the treble stitches are in threes, which makes a very characteristic granny pattern. I've already joined 3 rows on this blanket, hopefully you can see them there, and today I'm joining the 4th and starting to work on the perpendicular joins as well, so that by the time I finish this lot of stitching, the blanket will be all in one piece and ready for me to edge. So I've already attached them all to my crochet hook with a loop. I'm using a number 4 hook today because this is double knit wool. Starcraft double knit actually, which I always like to work with. Very nice wool, washed as well, lovely and light. And it's acrylic but it still has a really nice feel. So I've picked up loops from both the blanket squares onto my hook, and I'm going to join the wool and then start to join the squares. But you probably can't see very much from over there. I don't know if my cameraman can come a little closer to look at the stitches that I'm doing, or whether I'll just talk generally about some stuff. Looks like I'll be talking generally about crochet and what it means to me. So I've been crocheting since I was probably about 15, and my granny taught me. So yes, my early attempts at granny squares were a bit of a disaster because I couldn't control my tension, and some of the stitches ended up being very tall and loose, and some of them were really short and tight, and so I'd have tall rows and short rows, and it was all a bit of a disaster. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a bit inattentive because I've just reached the end of one pair of squares that I've joined, and I'm about to try and join them to another pair of squares, so it's all quite fiddly. So I have to control 4 squares at once and keep it nice and tight, because otherwise they'll flap about and it won't be a very secure join. There we go, I think that should do it. I sometimes help other people to learn to crochet, and one of the things that people struggle with most is the business of controlling the yarn with your index finger and then holding the work with your middle finger and thumb. It's an awful lot to do with just one hand, but it does seem to work, for me anyway. But everybody has to find their own style, and once you've got the hang of it, it's a really pleasant way to pass the time and make beautiful things. So this is a blanket that I've made for a work colleague, and she's asked me to make it for her on behalf of a friend who's got a birthday coming up. So I'm not sure whether it's going to be a surprise and a birthday present, or whether the friend's going to buy it directly. I don't know. That's not my business really. As long as I get paid and I can donate the money to the charity I support with my blankets, then I'm happy really. I've also been working with a friend to help make blankets for refugees, and so once I finish this one, I've got 56 squares in a bag in my front room. Oops, sorry, I've got all tangled up, my wool's ended up in the wrong place. 56 squares in a bag in the front room that I'll be stitching together to make a blanket to go to the refugee camp at Calais. And so I'm looking forward to getting on with that. And perhaps we'll make a video about that in due course, because that's different from this one. The squares are have already been joined. Each square is actually 2 squares joined together with double crochet, the stitch I'm using now, and then we'll be joining those squares together to make a really big blanket. I think maybe not quite as big as this one, but quite sizable and very thick. That's the intention. We want it to be very thick and warm. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. And then after that, I'll just get on with making some more squares for future blankets, because they have a need for more blankets over there than we can make between us here. But we want to do what we can. So yes, in a minute I'm going to stop working on this join and start working on a crosswise join. But for now, I think I will say goodbye and say thank you for watching and see you another day.